Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode from the Hermitcraft server. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of work on the Dwarven base. Just got a couple finishing touches I want to kind of take care of to wrap this up before the season ends, ready for the world download and all that kind of stuff. And while we're doing that, I want to talk about the subject of server resets, because it's something that comes up every time that there is a reset planned on, honestly, just about any server. Especially with a big public, well, I shouldn't say public, with a server that is well known like Hermitcraft, there's always a lot of discussion about, is it too soon? Are they rushing things? There are so many unfinished projects. I'm not ready for the reset, things like that. And then there are, of course, the other side. People are like, man, I'm so excited for the reset. It's going to be awesome. I'm ready for the new season. All this kind of stuff. And I want to kind of talk about that discussion because I know that there are probably some of you who think that the server reset is premature and that we should keep playing on Hermitcraft Season 4 in this world for, ever. And you know what? Your points, your ideas, they're not invalid at all. I mean, I can understand why people don't want a server to reset and want to keep things kind of going. But at the same time, I want to talk about some of the other reasons that a server does kind of need to reset every now and again and all that kind of stuff. Also, this is what I have been working on kind of between episodes. There's a mine shaft on either side. This one just kind of goes off in that direction. I never really ended up doing anything with this space, so I just kind of filled it in like this. And then this leads off to my beacon mine down at the end of this tunnel. And I've got this all kind of built. It's pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated, but it's also kind of dull and boring. So while we're talking about the subject of server resets, we're going to be working on this and detailing it out and making it look a lot more interesting than it currently does. That is essentially the plan for today's episode. So let's get into the topic of server resets. Obviously, the server is resetting. Oh, by the way, in case you missed the last episode of Hermitcraft, the server is resetting on April 13th, which happens to be the 5-year anniversary of Hermitcraft. That will be 5 years from the day that Generic B, who founded Hermitcraft, uploaded his first ever Hermitcraft video. Let's grab a shulker box. And actually, let's just grab one more shulker box so I can put... item frames. Totally didn't even think of that. Okay, it's fine. I'm just going to put a lot of my stuff away that I don't actually need right this very moment. And now I get to try and figure out what was in each of these. I'm pretty sure this was an Ender Pearl one. That was definitely books. And this is definitely bones. Okay, so we've got some stuff now. And what I was going to do, that's right. I almost forgot the whole reason that I came here, which was to grab all of these lava buckets. That should be enough, I think. I think it will be. Yeah. Anyway, so when it comes to resets, there are a couple things to keep in mind, especially in a multiplayer community like Hermitcraft. And one of the biggest reasons that a reset is needed every so often is simply server performance. When you have a large multiplayer world in Minecraft, occasionally things break. Like, things just go wrong with the world. Weird, bizarre things that happen for, no apparent reason. As a perfect example of that, we have currently an area of the world right next to my house in the Mesa and kind of right next to where Iskall lives, that whole little area right there. There's just this weird spot where for some reason the frame rate is just nope, I'm not going to give you any sort of reasonable frame rate for no apparent reason. Like, we've checked it many times. There's no weird stuff. We think it's probably some sort of like a chunk loading error or something like that. Some sort of weird corrupted chunk error or something that's just causing performance issues for like no apparent reason. But there's nothing we can really do to fix it. So we're just kind of stuck with it. Or when you have situations where there are tons and tons and tons of really big, impressive, redstone-y farms and things, when those involve lots and lots of hoppers and stuff like that, you can run into some problems there as well. Whenever those areas are loaded, it can get pretty crazy. Yeah, I think we'll do that for most of our lighting down here. I'm going to put the lava in last, but we know what we're going to do here. Let's see. Perhaps we can grab some slabs and do something kind of like that. That could be kind of cool. Or maybe even we make this one a full block, just so we have... Nope, I think I like it better with a stair. Let's do the stair block. Boop. There we go. So, as I was saying, yeah, there are reasons involving a reset there, or there are reasons kind of requiring a reset there, and they're just not really things that we can do anything to fix. It's not nearly as bad in a single-player setting, because in a single-player setting, there's not nearly as many people who could potentially load something in the game that will cause some sort of an issue. You know what I mean? And it's not anybody's fault, per se. It's just something that happens in long-term Minecraft worlds. It's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. So that's one reason that I think a reset is kind of important every so again, is to kind of clean up the world, start fresh, make sure that everything is kind of ready to go and new and without all sorts of weird game issues that are just kind of the nature of Minecraft. Like, those things just happen when you get Minecraft worlds that are old enough to have gone through multiple versions and all sorts of random things, right? So I think it's kind of important to have that. Why is this? That is what we were doing this entire time, right? Yeah, okay. I guess I'm just losing my mind. I am also losing my voice, by the way. If you can't tell that my voice sounds much... Ooh, hi. Diamonds. Was not expecting to find those here. I will take them. I actually am pretty poor, considering how long the season has been going on. I have very few diamonds to my name. Mostly because every time I get them, I spend them in the shopping district. But, that's all right. As for other reasons that servers do kind of need to reset every so often, right? A lot of it just comes down to inspiration. Over time, people lose interest. That's just something that happens. And there's not anything wrong with that. Different people have different levels of interest and inspiration and all that kind of stuff. I certainly have lost inspiration over the course of the series once or twice, and I've managed to get it back after a little while. But, it's one of those things where when you play in the same world for a really, really long time, you can just kind of run out of ideas. There comes a point where, depending on how you play Minecraft, you kind of look at the world and you're like, I've done all the things. I have built all the farms. I have gotten all the items. What else is there? And that's partially affected by the way that people play Minecraft. Like, there are different ways to play Minecraft. Some people are very focused on the progression, right? Especially when it comes with like modded Minecraft. You're very focused on the progression and how to advance through the, kind of proverbial tech tree, so to speak. And then once you have all the farms and stuff like that, you kind of hit a point where you're like, I've got I have a farm for everything. I have more of every item that I ever want. What else do I need? What else is there left for me to do? And then you have people like myself who generally focus more on world building, and building pretty things. And I feel like people like myself who focus on world building are less prone to want a reset more often. But at the same time, there comes a point where even I hit a point where I'm like, what else should I build? I have no more ideas, and you just kind of hit that. It's kind of like writer's block. If you're a writer, you run into a situation where you're like, what else do I have left to build? I've already built this giant base, and I've already built this and that and the other thing, and you kind of hit a point where you're like, I don't know what's left. What else can I build here? I know there are things that I could build, but I just can't think of any ideas that sound appealing to me. And that's a very real thing. And as time goes on, that becomes more and more prevalent. The more things you build, the less ideas you have of additional stuff to build. And that makes sense if you think about it. That's just kind of the way that things work out. And a reset, when you reset, you're starting over from scratch. And you're at that point where you're like, what's left for me to build? I haven't built anything yet. I have everything left to build. I can build all the things. And that's really, in some ways, kind of refreshing. It's nice to kind of hit that moment where you're like, I can build everything. I've got a whole base to build and to plan, and I've got, there's just so many different things that you do at the start of a new world that you wouldn't do after you've had thousands upon thousands of hours into a world. And I think it's a good way to kind of renew interest and all that kind of stuff. Other things as well, people kind of drift from the game over time. And it may be for a number of reasons. It could be that they ran out of inspiration. It could be that real life stuff got in the way, any of those kinds of different things. And sometimes when you kind of take a break from something, sometimes it's really hard to get back into it. If you're away for 2 or 3 months, like you just kind of reach a point where you're like, well, now I'm like, I don't know what's been going on. I feel like kind of out of the loop, and it's really hard to kind of get back into things at that point. And a server reset is a great point to kind of jump back in, to kind of renew your excitement and energy for playing on a server. So I think it's good to join, to do a reset semi-regularly. I'm not saying we should reset like every couple of months or anything like that, but it hasn't been a couple months. I mean, we're talking Hermitcraft Season 5 Hermitcraft Season 4 has been going on now for well over a year. And if you look back over the history of Hermitcraft, every season has been between a year and a half. And we are certainly within that time period. Like, this is, historically, this is about the time that we would be considering a reset. And I think it is in many ways good that we are considering a reset. I think that's a good thing. I personally have been ready for a reset for quite some time, if I'm being honest. I've been ready for a reset now for a couple months. That's not to say that I haven't been enjoying myself over the last couple months, but I've just got so many ideas, and for me, the beginning of a world is one of the most enjoyable times. That's one of the times that I most enjoy, and that's certainly one of the times where I find it the easiest to create content, because there's just so many things to do, and you get so many ideas, and you have so much inspiration, and everybody is super active and excited, and it's just like, it's one of the best times in the lifespan of a server. I still enjoy the later months of a server. I still enjoy the time now on Hermitcraft, even though we've been on here for well over a year. But there's something kind of magical about the start of a server right after a reset. You know what I mean? Because everybody's online, and there's so many things going on, and so many new builds are popping up, and there's just so many things happening at once that it's really kind of very exciting and almost kind of magical in a way. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that I always look forward to, is the start of a new thing, a new adventure, so to speak. That's something that I've always enjoyed and that I always will enjoy. But with that said, there's a lot of people who think that a server reset, and it seems like there's a lot of people who think that a server reset, whenever it occurs, is premature because there are unfinished projects. And there are lots of things left to do. And, that's not that's not wrong. I mean, there are unfinished projects on the Hermitcraft server. I've got a couple of them myself. There are plenty of hermits who have unfinished projects. But the thing with a game like Minecraft is that there are always going to be unfinished projects. There's never a point in a Minecraft world where you can honestly say there is absolutely nothing left for me to do here. There might be stuff where there isn't anything left that you can think of or that you want to do, per se, that sounds fun and enjoyable, but there's never a point where you go, there is literally nothing I could be doing right now. And be actually correct. Because Minecraft is just an open-ended game. It's a sandbox game. There is no real end. There are always more things you can do. And especially when you're playing on a multiplayer server where we're not coordinating every single thing that's going on, there's always going to be unfinished projects at any given time. And even if the server were to continue on for another 6 months, there's no guarantee that all those projects would be finished, because sometimes you just lose interest in a project. You start a project and you get part of the way into it and you're like, man, this is not nearly as fun as I thought it was going to be. I am not enjoying this. I don't want to finish this project. And that's okay. Like that happens. That's just kind of part of the way the game goes. And at the same time, with people starting projects constantly and ending projects, and some of them being small and some of them being big, like if you waited to do a reset before everyone was finished with all their projects, you would literally never reset because there will never be a time on a multiplayer server with 10, 20 people where all the projects are finished. It's just never going to happen. And some projects would get finished for sure. I mean, obviously there are some projects that you start and then you just kind of forget about them because you get distracted and kind of sucked into other things, so to speak, and you just never really go back to them. There are some things like that. There are also projects that you might finish, like that you plan to finish, that you just run out of time or anything like that. But there's never going to be a point in a multiplayer server where everything is done. It's just not ever going to happen. And that is entirely okay. Like, that's just one of those things that I personally don't have any sort of an issue with. We need to figure out what we're going to do in these little bits right there. Let's go grab some chiseled stone here for a minute. Or maybe, yeah. Let's do that. And there are certainly some projects on the server that I would have liked to have seen finished, but that for whatever reason just didn't get finished. We ran out of time, and that's okay. And the thing is, when you look at Hermitcraft and the history of Hermitcraft and the significance of Hermitcraft, I think doing the reset on the 5-year anniversary of Hermitcraft is actually kind of a really important thing. Like, I feel like that's a significant nod, if you will, to those that kind of came before. And I think it's very important to not forget the contributions and the time that those people put in. Because Hermitcraft, 5 years. 5 years of Hermitcraft. Like, think about that for a minute. I haven't even been playing Minecraft for 5 years. I've been playing Minecraft since about a month before 1.8 came out. And Hermitcraft existed as a server and a brand that a lot of people were watching before I even loaded up Minecraft for the first time. That's crazy to think about. And I think it's really important to kind of, I think it's important to look to the future, but at the same time, I think it's also very important to remember your roots and kind of remember where you came from, because there were people on this server building the Hermitcraft community before I ever stepped foot in a Minecraft world. And I think I think resetting on the 5-year anniversary of Hermitcraft is kind of a cool and significant nod to those people. It's kind of a way of showing respect to your forefathers, so to speak. You know what I mean? There you got people like Generic B, who really doesn't play Minecraft anymore, or who, for that matter, doesn't play Minecraft anymore, but who were very significant in making Hermitcraft what it is today. Like, Hermitcraft would not be Hermitcraft as you know it without people like Generic B. And for that matter, all the other hermits who came before, all the people like Slipgator and Spumwhack, and I mean, basically, pick a name. There's a long, long list of former, of Hermit alumni, so to speak, who have made significant contributions, and some of them don't even do YouTube anymore. Some of them have moved on, not just from Minecraft, but from YouTube, you know? And that's okay. Those things happen over time. But I think it's important to still recognize those contributions and those achievements to the greater Minecraft community, and to especially the Hermitcraft community. I think that's very important. As for Season 5, I am super, super pumped for Season 5. We are going to do so many cool, amazing things in Season 5. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Like, I have so many plans that I can't wait to share with you. I think you guys are, like, we're going to blow your minds. We have so many cool ideas and things that we're planning and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome. And I do want to clarify one thing. Last episode, there was a comment, or I left a comment. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or if it was in the YouTube comment section or whatever, but I left a comment somewhere that said something along the lines of, we as Hermitcraft are going to continue to push the boundaries of what we consider to be vanilla Minecraft. And I think some people took that the wrong way, in a way that I didn't intend. I'm not saying that the next season of Hermitcraft is going to be modded. That would kind of defeat the purpose of the Hermitcraft vanilla server. Like, that's not a thing, guys. We're not going to have a modded server. But what I meant by that is that we're going to push the boundaries of what we consider to be regular vanilla, and more importantly, what we consider to be possible in vanilla. There are so many, we're going to innovate. And that's something that Hermitcraft has always done. We've always kind of redefined what we consider to be the norm when it comes to a vanilla SMP. We have always kind of innovated and tried new things and done new things and, kind of set the standard, so to speak, for a vanilla SMP server, a group of friends who all kind of play together. That's just a normal thing that we have always done and that we will continue to do. That's what I meant. There are things that I have seen on the Hermitcraft server this season that I never would have thought possible in vanilla Minecraft. Things like Cubfan moving the end crystal complete with the beam that restores the dragon into the overworld and putting in his base. Like, I could not imagine that was A, even possible, and B, actually doing it in vanilla survival. That's what I mean when I say we're going to continue to push the boundaries and innovate. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying we're adding mods to the Hermitcraft vanilla server, because that is if we want to play modded, we will play modded. We have modded series and modded servers and things like that. And you guys know that I love me some modded Minecraft. I absolutely love modded Minecraft. It's one of my favorite things, but I love vanilla Minecraft as well. And I think they both have a place. And I think once you start adding mods, once you get to the point where if you guys are going to download the world at the end of the season and you're going to have to install a bunch of mods to do so, I think you really can't call it the Hermitcraft vanilla server anymore. You know what I mean? That's kind of my test is, are you going to be stuck installing Forge and adding mods to your game? Because if that's the case, then I think that's kind of the point where you can no longer call it a vanilla server. And that's my personal opinion on it. Everyone, you're entitled to whatever opinion you want. But when I said that, I was not suggesting that we are adding mods for Season 5, because that is one detail about Season 5 that I will confirm. We are not adding mods to Hermitcraft. But I have amazing plans for Season 5. I am so excited. We've got I have like this huge idea for a base, and it's going to be something that you guys have been telling me to do for a very, very long time that I just never really got around to, that I just haven't ever done. And it's something that I probably should have done a while ago, honestly, and that I've been looking forward to doing for quite some time. Wow, Thunder. Please, Thunder. Please. It's something that I've been kind of meaning to do for a long time and just kind of looking for the right moment to do it. And I think Hermitcraft Season 5 is going to be that time. And I've got so many ideas of detail and architecture styles and different things, ideas of other hermits to collaborate with, who, will be able to help me with my base and with other things. I've got so many ideas for community projects and stuff like that. And I think it's really important to, I'm very hyped. I am super, super hyped for Season 5, without a doubt. I will also say that one big argument against server resets is that, well, if you're bored, you could always just move off to somewhere else in the world and just start fresh somewhere else. And I don't think that's the right answer for a server like Hermitcraft, where everyone is good friends and it's kind of a small, tight-knit community. You know what I mean? Maybe that would be a thing if we were on like some public, large multiplayer server with hundreds of people. Like, then it would be different. But I think when you have a small, close-knit group like we do, and people start moving away and going off to kind of do their own thing, I think you really lose something. And yes, the irony that the person who left the Mesa relatively early in the season to go build my Dwarven base, the irony that I'm the one that's saying that is not lost on me. I know that sounds like kind of a hypocritical thing to say, but I did have my reasons for that involving my real-life situation at the time, and there wasn't really a whole lot of other options, to be honest, just because of the fact that I was on active duty military orders for pretty much all of last year, all of 2016, and if I had stayed in the Mesa, with the way that I was recording my videos, because I was basically recording all of my videos on weekends, and then those videos would come out throughout the course of the week, it would have been spoilers constantly. Just constant spoilers. And I don't really get too bothered about spoilers for the most part. Like, I really don't care when it comes to, having people see my builds before the video comes out. Like, I really don't care for the most part. But when it's every video for the entire season, I think it gets to be a bit much. So I kind of had to distance myself from the Mesa a little bit. And that's also part of the reason that you haven't seen a whole lot of community and collaborative stuff from me this season as well, is because I had such a narrow window of time for the vast majority of the season where I could be online. And where I could do collabs and stuff like that. So next season, Season 5, I'm planning on doing a lot more collaborative group stuff than I did in season 4. Not just like actual videos together and stuff like that, but community builds and group projects and things like that. I'm going to make a significant effort over the course of season 5 to really be a more active member of the community rather than just someone who plays on the server when I have the availability to do so. Because I can do that now. Now I am full-time. I am a full-time YouTuber now. I can actually do that without worrying about, my job going away. Now this is my job, and I have the ability to do those things, which is something that I wasn't able to do before. I want to grab a little bit of chisel and a little bit of cobble. This looks a lot better than it did, by the way. I will say, I'm liking it for the most part. It's very good. But I want to fix... Oh, and while I'm at it, I'll just take some stone bricks with me. Okay, and we're almost finished with this. But that is kind of the deal. I think, honestly, I am ready for a reset. I think all the other hermits are also ready for a reset at this point. Like, we're excited. We're super hyped for the new season. We've got a lot of ideas. It's going to be fantastic, and I am greatly, greatly looking forward to it. And I hope that you guys are too. This was an amazing season of Hermitcraft. I don't think anybody will deny that this was one of the best Hermitcraft seasons thus far. However, I think season 5 is going to be just as good, if not better, and I am amazingly excited for that possibility. But I would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Let's have a discussion about it. Is it too early for a reset? Are we jumping the gun? Or is it time? Are we ready to move on to new and bigger challenges and new builds and new ideas and all sorts of crazy shenanigans? Or are we jumping the gun? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. I am out of time for this episode. So my friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.